keep those donors at the center focus of your relationships while you collaborate with the board of directors and the staff so that you can communicate to the audience. Welcome to the 9th video in my conducting series. In this video, I'm going to talk about the audience, the board of directors, and the donors. The audience. This is the reason you're a professional musician. This is why we do what we do. Music is an art form meant for communication. There's something we're trying to say. Sometimes it's just as simple as pure entertainment. Sometimes it has something deeper, but you need the audience to have the communication. Otherwise, there's no reason to perform the music. We might get into music because of our love for it and the reward we get from learning an instrument, playing a piece of music, feeling those emotions as we perform it. But what makes a career out of it is being able to communicate to the audience. This is crucially important even for educators in music to understand, because you have some students who might go on in music as a career, and they need to, just like they're learning how to play their instrument, how to read music, how to perform, part of that is learning about the audience and being able to properly understand how to communicate to that audience so that they do end up with a successful career. Now, as a conductor, we're thinking about the audience when we program our concerts and decide what we're going to play, and I'm going to cover that in a future video. But we're also thinking about them during the concert. We're thinking about them before we enter the stage, in how the atmosphere has been created. What are we doing to make it an experience and not just a concert? Michael Tilson Thomas said that for him, one of the most stressful parts of being a conductor is the moment just before he enters the stage. And that's because in that moment, he's not thinking about the music that they're about to perform. He's thinking about the audience and what that audience is expecting from him as a host greeting them to the concert. Everything prior to the concert is meant to build the anticipation to the moment that conductor comes out. You know, the people are sitting, the stage is set. Maybe there's pre-concert music playing. Then as the musicians start to enter, they hear them fiddling around on the stage. Then just before the concertmaster is going to come out, the sound stops on stage. The house lights dim, the stage lights come up, the concertmaster comes out, there's clapping, they bow, they turn, the orchestra or band or ensemble tunes. Concertmaster sits down, lighting changes again, and then enters the conductor. The moment everybody has been waiting for in anticipation is the host welcoming them to the event. Now, that doesn't mean the conductor always has to talk. But the moment that conductor touches the stage and the audience can see them, the audience, every member of that audience, has a preconceived notion of what this ensemble is, of what this music is going to be, and of who this conductor is, the face of the ensemble. Who is that person to them? And that's the stressful part Michael Tilson Thomas talks about. You might have an audience of 1,500 people, and each person may have a different idea of who Michael Tilson Thomas is. And somehow, without talking, he has to enter that stage, turn to them and bow, and then turn to the ensemble. And in between the moment of when he enters the stage and turns to the ensemble, in that short time span, he has to make all 1,500 of those people, or more, feel welcome. And with each of them having a different interpretation of who he is, his stress is, who should I be? What is it that is going to make all of them feel like they're going to be a part of this process? Break down that fourth wall between the stage and the audience and invite them into this experience. And for every conductor and every stage personality, that's different. The number one advice I give is be yourself. Figure out who your stage persona is and be that when you come out. But be true to who you are as a person to really make that authentic. But that's a part of the audience experience and thinking what you're giving to them and how you're going to make them enjoy this moment. I personally like talking to an audience. I like talking, probably why I'm making these videos. But I like the communication that I can have with them. I like being able to give them little bits of information that maybe they would normally not find in program notes, which are more historical based many times, or even personal stories and anecdotes that make them feel a connection between myself, them, and the special guest or the music that we're about to play. And it makes it kind of like we're all just sitting in the living room talking about music and enjoying these performances. But not all conductors like doing that, and not all concerts are appropriate for that. And you need to know which is which. You know, if you finish playing a serious dramatic piece of music like Adagio for strings, you're probably not going to want to talk after that, at least not right away, because the mood, they need time to absorb what just happened. If you play Stars and Stripes forever, talk afterwards. Unless it's the very last thing on the concert, thank them for coming if it is. What's going to help the dramatic flow of the concert? If there's a piece of music where you know there's going to be a large stage change happening, is it appropriate for you to leave the stage like a lot of classical conductors do and just have the audience sit there amongst themselves, maybe they chat amongst themselves? Is that appropriate at that moment in that concert? Or is it more appropriate to keep their focus and attention towards the stage by using that as a time to talk about something with them, or by having a special guest come out and give a story? These are all things you're thinking about that are specifically to make it a better experience for the audience that is appropriate to the music of that specific concert. But you also need to think about the audience while the music is being played. Does the energy of the room say to you that they're still engaged, or are they losing attention? And you change things accordingly. Yes, you might change things in how the music's being performed so that in that moment, the music comes alive more to keep the audience engaged. Always stay in tune with your musicians, with your audience, and with that interpretation in your mind that you're trying to create, because all three make the magical moment. If you take any one of those out, there can and most likely will be a breakdown in that artistic communication that you're trying to create. The board of directors. These are the people that basically run the show when it comes to the organization you're conducting for. Most organizations you're conducting for are nonprofit, and a board of directors is running the nonprofit. And if you are a music director for that organization, you are working with those board of directors, as well as the creative team, as well as the business team, which could be a managing director, an executive director, a CEO, president, whatever terms they put on it. You need to work with these people. That board of directors is hiring you, and they can fire you. And you want them to stay happy. So there needs to be a good relationship between you and them. If the hiring was done properly, they are hiring you for your talents and what you bring to the table and what vision you bring to the table. So you should be striving to achieve a vision you've created. But it's their ensemble. You need to stay in a good communication with them. You need to take their thoughts into consideration and work with them and collaborate with them to create the bigger good. Because here's the reality. You have that conducting job because someone raised money to offer you that opportunity. And that board of directors and or executive director, CEO, working with the board of directors, they created that financial opportunity for you. Not just financial in the sense of paying you, but financial in the sense of paying for the concert and paying for that ensemble and paying for the music. So if you just disregard their opinions and their thoughts, eventually they're going to disregard you. If you're not working with a nonprofit and you're working on a job that is a for-profit that hired you to conduct, then keep in mind who's directing the show and who's producing, hiring, paying for the show, and make sure that you're collaborating with them. It's who's giving you this opportunity. You need to make sure that all those parties feel like they're a part of the process. Last but not least are the donors to your orchestra, band, choir, whatever your organization is. If it's nonprofit, there are donors. If it's for-profit, there are probably investors of some kind. I will talk specifically about the donors in the nonprofit. They are your lifeline. They are why you are able to do what you do. They love what you do. They support what you do, and they want it to continue. Understand how important that relationship is and how important they are to your success. All artists have always needed people to believe in them, people to support them. We've had time periods where it was all about the aristocrats, the kings and queens paying for it. Haydn understood, keep the king happy, he keeps being able to create art. Mozart understood that if he kept the opera houses happy and the people who wanted to put on these performances, and also the common folk when he created more of his light-hearted pieces of music that made it into the comedy opera houses and things, the people that were paying for these things are the people that needed to be happy. Someone who historically was not known for being able to do that at a great level was Beethoven. He created what he wanted to create, and there were some difficulties in his life because of that perspective. So I'm offering the advice and recommend: have good relationships with the donors. Make them feel special, because they are special, because they're the ones who are in your corner to make you be able to rise to the level of spreading your vision, your art, and your passion for music to a wider audience. They're helping you to be able to do that, and you're helping them by being able to be a part of it. So keep those donors at the center focus of your relationships while you collaborate with the board of directors and the staff so that you can communicate to the audience. Thank you for watching. For more great videos, subscribe to the Maestro Fox YouTube channel. To learn more about the Maestro, visit StephenAllenFox.com.